Hello, and welcome back to Amy and 10. I hope you enjoy this episode. Today, I'm going to ramble on for about 10 minutes about divorce and why I chose at 43 years old to initiate divorce of my husband of 25 years. So I know that's probably someone's absolutely worst nightmare thinking about living alone and how to go through a divorce and what on earth are they going to do. But I can tell you 100% certain that it was the best decision of my life, and I probably shouldn't have waited nearly as long as I did. When you're young and in a relationship, you don't always have the tools or skills or even know what you need throughout your life. So, 26 years is a long time to be in a partnership with one person. And honestly, in my marriage, I was very blind to the person that my spouse was. And I was gaslit so hard for so long uh, that I didn't really have a good sense of reality. And it wasn't until I was older and started experience a lot of loss in my personal life and struggling with my work life and going back to school. And I had all these outside pressures around me. I suffered a pretty catastrophic injury with my back. And I realized that I didn't have the support and wasn't getting anything that I needed out of my relationship. And it was only hindering me. And it was only me making it worse for me. Because not only was I expected to care for myself and all my emotional needs, but I had another person who demanded that I take care of all of their emotional needs, their financial needs, anything to do with life. I needed to take care of it. So if you can imagine that while you're going through all of these things, to not have the help and support or care of another person that you've been married to for 26 years. And I just kind of woke up one day, kind of mid year in our 25th, before we celebrated our 25th year of marriage in 2017, and realized that I needed a change, that I couldn't do it any longer, that I was going down in flames. And the way I described my relationship and how I determined I needed it to end was I kind of felt like I was standing on the edge of a fire. And it was just getting burning higher and higher and higher. And everything I loved was just getting thrown in the fire and burning away to nothing. And my partner, instead of standing there with me, trying to pull me away from the flames, trying to heal my wounds and soothe me, was standing there laughing and basically standing there with his hand on my back, ready to just push me in the flames. And that's really, I know it's a crazy analogy, but that is just how that I felt, that like everything around me was burning down. Like I lost parents and grandparents and cousins and you name it, my best friend. And my job was on the line and I did end up getting laid off. Literally, I'm not kidding. The month that I separated and had to move into my own apartment, and my cat, my my absolutely most wonderful Casanova, was diagnosed with nasal lymphoma all in the same month. And I literally thought I was just myself going to burst into flames. And separating was terrifying. And unfortunately, I had a really hard time getting my ex's tentacles off of me because of the type of person I truly believe he's a pathological narcissist. And so everything in the world absolutely revolves around him. So everything everything that went on in my life, he was always trying to insert himself in so he could try to keep me on the hook and kind of keep my emotions tied to him. But it took me a while, right? Because cutting the tentacles after 26 years of marriage is really difficult. Like when you're in a relationship that long, you kind of almost form your own language with someone, right? You have this bond and familiarness that is extremely difficult to let go of. And, just thinking about, oh, I saw this news story, I saw this, or I heard this, and like Normally I would share it with him, but it's like you're kind of losing your best friend and losing all these other things that have been in your life, that are just now are not there and are empty because you need to stop that communication. So that really was the most difficult part. But when I look back on it, like the other parts of the relationship that should have all been there, instead of just this surface level connection stuff, like I didn't have any of that. And also, I was constantly being gaslit and constantly being put down and bullied. And I didn't realize how bad of a toll it had taken on my self esteem and still until I started doing things for myself and I started watching YouTube videos and going to therapy and investing all this time in myself to heal. And then I realized, like, oh, I'm a worthwhile person. Oh, I can actually do things. I can actually have friends. I'm not some horrible person that nobody wants around and doesn't want to talk to. Like, I mean, these are the things that like got put in my head. I would get laughed at sometimes when I would say that I'd want to do this or that. There was so much sabotaging, even just this little thing. Like to this day, I have this beautiful purse, paid like $500 for it, which is ridiculous. I shouldn't have been buying a purse like that, but my ex-husband ruined it, and it almost seems now when I look back on when it happened that it was almost intentional, and it. I don't know. It just seems like so much when I look back on reflect on my time, I can see over and over and over again the things that were had to be intentional to keep me down. So let me tell you, like if you are struggling in your relationship, and I talked about this in the letting go video, but if you're really struggling in your relationship, like look at the red flags, get some clarity, take a step back because you may think you need this person, but when you get some separation from the situation, you may not. And I'm going to tell you that living single sometimes isn't easy, right? If I'm sick or unwell or I really need something done that I can't do myself, you know, I still have to figure out how to get it done, right? The trash isn't going to take out itself. I'm, food isn't just going to magically appear. Someone's not just going to hand me a dinner plate. Not that they ever did before. The litter boxes still have to be scooped by me no matter what. The cats still have to be fed no matter what happens. So all of those responsibilities, like there are a lot of things that being single, yeah, you still have to do, but I am so enjoying the single life, uh, enjoying and engaging in community and social media and meeting new people and getting such great feedback from my videos and my content. And I don't know, I just like I kind of feel like sometimes maybe I'm glowing. Like I feel like I have this happiness in my head that I'd never felt before because I just always felt so beat down. So, yes, throwing away a 26-year marriage may not be something that everybody can handle, but you know what? I encourage you if you're not getting what you need out of a relationship, then definitely make sure that you look at what you need as an individual. Speak up, see if you can get those needs met. And if someone can't like meet you halfway or three-quarters of the way or any way, like you need to reevaluate that. So, as 43 years old, I decided that divorce was my best option. I did all the paperwork myself. And at 44 years old, we just celebrated our 26th year of marriage, I was granted a divorce and I don't regret it, and I will never regret it. What I do grieve is what we could have been if he had been a different person. And I'm not saying that I don't have any faults and that I didn't contribute to the downfall of our relationship or I didn't have things that he needed. But all in all, when you're dealing with a narcissist who the whole world revolves around them, it doesn't matter. no matter how good you are, even if you're providing 100% of everything that they need, there's always going to be something, right? There's always going to be some fault because they need to keep you beat down to keep you in that relationship because they don't want you believing that you're worthy of being in a relationship with anybody else. So that was just kind of my take for the day on why I decided that I needed a divorce. And I hope that encourages you to look at your relationships and make sure that you're staying in a relationship for all the right reasons. Don't do it just because it feels safe and that you want companionship. That is certainly not reason enough to be in an unfulfilling relationship. So thank you for joining me at Amy and 10, and I hope you have a fabulous day.
Come on in, let's begin. Real life, real chats with Amy and 10. 4 cats, 1 heart, and stories to share. Life's not perfect, but we'll get there. Finding myself all over again. Real talk, real laughs with Amy and 10.